Days are gone where we used to deal with fixed configuration resources, static resources, because we used to deal with physical resources. Now we are working with cloud computing where we deal with virtual resources, which are dynamic in nature. So, scalability is one of the biggest advantage of cloud computing. What is scalability, how to do it, and when to do it? That is the next question of my question-based learning series, the question from day 19. Let us understand what is scalability. Scalability gives you flexibility. It is resizability. You can resize your resources vertically and horizontally. Scalability is the need of the hour. In every real-time environment, we perform scalability. What is vertical scaling? Vertical scaling is changing the configuration of an existing machine, that is scale up or scale down. Horizontal scaling is adding or removing machines. Scale out, scale in. Let me take a simple analogy for you to understand the vertical and horizontal scaling. Let's say there is a chair in a classroom and we want to replace with a bigger size. Now, what we need to do? We need to ask the person to get up from the chair, right? To replace it. From this, you can understand that vertical scaling is disruptive. We need to take the instance down to perform vertical scaling. But for horizontal scaling, let's say I would want to add more chairs in the classroom to accommodate more people. I can just do that. It is non-disruptive. I can add chairs, I can remove chairs. On a similar line, I can add instances, I can remove instances. Hope you understood what is vertical and horizontal scaling. Now, how do we perform it? On AWS platform, to perform vertical scaling, we need to change the instance size. For that, we need to take the instance down. We need to stop the instance and change the instance type. Horizontal scaling we perform by using AWS auto scaling service. Though vertical scaling is disruptive in nature, but it has its own use case. Both vertical and horizontal scaling has its own use case and it is being used. Let's say my application need a higher configuration. I have to scale up, right? Or if suppose I'm not using it, certain resources of my instance are lying idle, I may have to scale down. So it has its own use case. So the next question is when to use which type of scaling. So as I mentioned earlier, vertical scaling we use when our application need a certain configuration for certain instance configuration, a higher configuration. So we opt for vertical scaling. Horizontal scaling we use when we want to optimize the cost and we would want to set up a redundant environment. For example, let's say I have deployed my application on an instance which is of a very good configuration, but there are always chances, there will be always a chance of a single point of failure because only one instance is hosted with an application. It might go down, the instance might get corrupted. So to create a redundant environment, I can deploy the application on multiple instances in my environment. So auto scaling helps, we can use auto scaling to perform this activity, and also cost optimization. I would want to add the servers whenever the load on the existing server increases, right? Or when I would want to remove the server when the load goes down. So this is what is horizontal scaling, which I can perform by using auto scale service of AWS, and that optimizes the cost of my environment. Hope you found this information useful. So if you want, if you're looking for more such content, subscribe to my channel. My channel name is DUK-Do. Stay tuned for my next question. Until then, keep learning.